welcome back to my channel and into a cook with me video. I'm going to be making two different types of lasagnas tonight for dinner. I'm going to be making my regular type of lasagna, and then I'm going to be making a lasagna that is low carb, and instead of noodles we're going to be making it with cabbage. But first I'd like to say, if you are new here, please hit that subscribe button, and if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. Okay, the first thing that you want to do obviously is wash your hands, get those nice and clean and good to go. You're getting ready to touch this meat, so I always wash my hands before and after. So I am making two different lasagnas. Like I told you, this is 5 pounds of hamburger, and if I have enough left over to make a second lasagna to go in the freezer, then I will do that as well. But I'm going to brown all of this meat, and I'm going to put it in this pot and get it onto the stove. Okay, now that I have all of this meat in this big old pot, I'm gonna go ahead and get that on the stove and get that to start browning. I'm gonna leave my little container over here on my counter to throw all of my trash in, so it's all in one spot and I don't have to keep making trips back and forth to the trash can. And while I'm at it, I'm gonna go ahead and start to preheat my oven to 350 degrees. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna do is take this big old container. This is a 3-pound container of cottage cheese. We like the small curd, and I like to strain it a little bit. So I'm literally gonna just put it in my strainer inside the sink and get some of that extra liquid out. You can use ricotta if you want to. We just prefer using the cottage cheese, so that's what we're going to do. And yeah, so I'm gonna just dump this out in here and let it strain for a little while I am getting my cabbage noodles on. I'm gonna go ahead and clean all of the little bits out of here. You're gonna start to hear that meat starting to warm up. Okay. So I'm just gonna let that sit there, and it's gonna drain some of the extra liquid out of there, so it's easier to stay in formation like it's supposed to when you're making a lasagna. Okay, so the next step you are going to, for my lasagna, I already had some of this cabbage at home, but I am just going to take out some of the outside layers like this. And I may or may not even use the cabbage inside the lasagna. This is the first time I'm making it, so bear with me as I figure out how I'm gonna work it. But I'm just gonna take off the layers, the outer layers, try not to tear them too bad, and get them in this pot. And I'm just going to put a little bit of water in there and just get them boiled up nice and neat, so that I can use these as my noodle layers instead of the actual lasagna noodles. And I think that's about all I'm going to do. Like I said, I have never tried making the lasagna in this fashion. It's new for me, so we're just... Okay, now that you have drained, or now that I have drained some of the extra liquid off of the cottage cheese, I'm just going to dump it all into this bowl here. I am going to go ahead and add 2 eggs in here. I just crack them and put them right in there with this mixture. Now I might end up needing more than that, we will see, but for now I'm just going to be using 2 eggs. And then next up we are going to add, I bought 2 bags of these are 1 pound each. I bought 2 of these. One's going to go for on the tops, and one is going to go inside this mixture, as well as this package of finely shredded Parmesan. This is 16 ounces and this is 16 ounces. I'm just gonna open them up and dump them right in here. If you can't tell, we like our lasagna very, very, very cheesy. And if you don't like the provolone inside your mozzarella, you can just get the regular mozzarella without the provolone in it. I just prefer to have the more cheese the better when it comes to lasagna for me and my family. So that's why you see all the cheese. And then we're just gonna mix it up. And we're gonna get it all nicely incorporated and see if we need to add some more eggs to it. My hamburger meat is almost done. The reason why you add the eggs to the lasagna is it acts as a binder, and I believe that we're gonna need one more egg. Maybe not, we'll see. I'm gonna just keep on mixing this until I get it all nicely mixed up and incorporated. And the egg, like I said, acts as a binder, so it kind of keeps all your cheeses together. I think it's more important to use the eggs when you're using ricotta, but I don't like the texture of ricotta. Things that have like, I think 2 eggs is gonna be just fine, actually, now that I've got it all mixed together. Ricotta has like that kind of weird grainy-ish texture in it, and I don't know, I don't like to eat pears because of that same reason, because it feels like there's like sand in it. But that's just my preference. That's the reason why we use cottage cheese, is because I don't like ricotta. But you can do the same mixture, the same amount of ricotta to the cottage cheese if you're making an abundance of lasagna like I am here. So I'm just going to, I think this is all nice and incorporated, so I'm just gonna set this aside and I'm gonna work on straining my hamburger meat now. Okay, so I have strained my hamburger meat, and I am just going to dump it back in the same pot, and then I'm going to add my sauces into this. You can see all that nice little steam coming up off. This is kind of what the cabbage looks like. Now, I'm not sure if it's supposed to look like this, but it is cooked thoroughly enough that you won't have too much of a bite in it, which is the kind of the way I want it. You still have a slight bite, but you won't have like a huge, like it's raw or something. It's more like it's steamed. So I'm just gonna let these cool so that whenever I build my lasagna for myself, it will be ready. Okay, so I'm not a real Italian, so I know that there's always some debate on whether or not you put noodles down first or if you put sauce down first. So I'm just gonna go with what I grew up doing, and that is, well, I grew up, we didn't have oven-ready lasagna, so when I learned how to cook with my grandma, these noodles didn't exist. But because we are, you know, 50 years later, I'm gonna go ahead and use this oven-ready lasagna. That way you don't have to boil it and carry on. And I'm also using disposable tray because it's the weekend and I'm gonna be meal prepping tomorrow, so I don't want to get a whole bunch of things dirty. And besides that, this thing here fits in my refrigerator with a covering over the top, where I do have a Rachel Ray, one of those big Rachel Ray lasagna pans, which I do use if I'm going somewhere, if I'm taking it somewhere, but it is huge and it won't fit in my refrigerator. So I'm just gonna start by layering some lasagna noodles this way, like so. And this pan is quite a bit smaller than my Rachel Ray pan, because on my Rachel Ray pan, 5 noodles will fit across there, but this only is gonna fit 3. So I'm just going to layer in some of my my sauce and hamburger mixture. And I did go ahead and add some Italian seasoning and things to my sauce because I'm used to, like I said, making my own sauces at the end of the summer. But now that winter's half over, I kinda don't have any more homemade sauces left. So we're kinda stuck using store-bought stuff, which is not the best for you. I highly suggest doing it by hand if you can, and canning it. And then I'm just gonna take this mixture And I'm just going to put a layer of this on top and spread it out some. And my oldest son is home. He is 16, of course you guys know that if you guys been watching my channel, but he actually lives at his dad's house. He has a different dad than the two little ones do. So he lives at his dad's house, but he's home this weekend. He normally comes home just about all the weekends, but he missed the last few weekends because of the snow. We've been having so much snow here in Missouri, and ice and sleet and slush. It's been nasty, so we didn't want to be unsafe by having him come home when it wasn't necessary to do so. He also stays with us all summer long, in case you don't know that either. I don't normally talk about that kind of stuff on my channel, so you guys may or may not know, but that's the deal with that. And we're going to put 3 more noodles on here. Maybe I can get 4 layers if I kind of overlap them a little bit. Maybe it's because it's not the bottom of the pan too. Let's see. So we're gonna do that, and then we're going to continue layering this bad boy up. And that does it for this lasagna. I'm gonna go ahead and top it off with some more noodles here. And then I'm going to set this guy aside. I'm gonna put some of this extra bag of mozzarella and provolone sprinkled over the top of this, like so. And then I will also put pieces of string cheese over the top of that, which I will show you after I get done making the other one. So I'm gonna get to the cabbage next. Okay, so I think that, like I said, this is a learning experience for me because I've never made this type of lasagna before. So I think that I'm going to go ahead and put a meat layer down and a cheese layer down, and then put the cabbage as the third layer, and then repeat the process. I don't think I want to put the cabbage down first. So we're gonna try this out and see what happens. And of course I'm just using one of these smaller pans because it's just me that's gonna eat this, nobody else will. So I'm going to make it a little bit more meaty and a little bit more cheesy even than just the other one. So I think I'm gonna have like a ton of this sauce left, but I don't think I'm gonna have enough cheese and stuff to make a whole nother lasagna. So I think I'll have to freeze the, the leftover sauce, or jar it, do something with it. So I'm just gonna pat this out, spread it out some. Those of you guys who do low carb, have you ever made this type of lasagna before? I have not. And I've seen a recipe on Pinterest, but I really didn't like get that into it, you know what I mean? That I am following a recipe, I'm just kind of winging it because, let's be real, that's kind of how I cook. And I'm just going to put a layer of the cabbage in there, and then I'm going to repeat the process and see what that does. Okay. And again, I have just made it another layer, and then I'm just gonna throw another piece of cabbage over the top here. And then I'm going to sprinkle the rest with this mozzarella. And then I'm gonna get to work on the string cheese. think that's probably plenty. As much as we like cheesy stuff, I'm pretty sure that's gonna be worth it. So I used all of the cheese mixture and almost all of the cabbage pieces, but I still have a ton of meat. So probably maybe 3 pounds of meat would probably have done it. But I'm just gonna save this for maybe spaghetti or something like that since it's already done, or the filling for another lasagna. Okay guys, this is the finished product with all the little string cheese. I just cut tore the string cheese on top of there and on top of here, and we're going to put these in the oven. I can't tell you the time, but I will try to keep an eye on it, and when I pull them out, I just never time stuff. I just keep looking at it, and when it's done, it's done. So I'm gonna say at least 30 minutes. But I will keep an eye on the time so I can tell you about how long it's going to be needing to be in the oven for, and I'll show you the finished product. Alright you guys, and this is the final project or product. I did leave it in for about 30 minutes, and then the last 3 to 5 minutes I broiled the top of the cheese, so that's why it looks like that. And that is basically it. I'm gonna let these sit for about 10 minutes, make the bread, and then I'll be ready to serve them. You don't want to cut right into this because the cheese is all bubbly and melty and juicy. You want to let it set for a few minutes before you cut into it, and we will let you know how it goes. And that does it for this video. If you guys are new here, please hit that subscribe button and hit that like button if you want to see more videos like this. And until next time, we'll see you in the next video.